All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get this party started. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me. Every Friday from 3 to 5, I sit with entrepreneurs, business leaders, all types and all kinds from everywhere to help them do the thing they do best, which is move people forward, move themselves and move people forward. That is my gift. That is my love. That is my passion. What I love to do more than anything else is help people really find what they need to keep going, what they need to dig deeper, what they need to focus better, to make sure that their productivity is at an all-time high and they become the people that they really want to become so they can contribute to the fourth floor of human history in a magical way. That's what we do here at Coffee Tea, You and Me. That's what we do here at Coach Powell Training and Development. And we hope to help inspire as many as we possibly can with this show. This show started out to be really a labor of passion. Because as a community service representative from many different types of organizations and community types of groups, I found myself overwhelmed with people who wanted my time and my attention. And I didn't know necessarily where to focus that time and attention. And so I wasn't necessarily getting things done that I needed to get done in my quote unquote real job, right? So I spent time, I said, you know what? I'm going to carve out 2-3 hours every week. I'm going to sit down at a local coffee shop. I'm going to call this Coffee Tea, You and Me with Coach Powell. And I'm going to answer any questions that anybody has of me that's outside of the work that I'm prepared to do. And the work that I was doing at the time was a financial services provider. So I talked about stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and life insurance of all types every day for a living, well into the evening on most days. And I work with people and helping them make sure their family members were safe and protected, and their wealth accumulation strategies worked and were growing. And that's what I did for the first 15, 17 years of my life. But once I got Coffee Tea, You and Me going, I realized that there's so much more to me than just my financial knowledge. And people started giving me feedback and asking me questions. Well, how much do you charge to coach? And I thought, well, I'm not technically a coach yet. And so I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but I had to quickly figure it out. And I've been doing this now for about 20 years. I've been doing coaching. I've been helping people with their networking strategy, understanding how to grow their advisory boards and councils. I've been working with corporations and individuals and just helping them move forward. And I love it. I can't imagine anything else I would rather do for the rest of my life. So you guys are watching today, you're in luck for a couple of reasons. Number one, we got a great show today. Today, we are talking about the latter stages of what is needed in developing your professional relationships. And that's understanding how to execute with the professionals that you've already accumulated and began to associate with. We're talking about the power of association. And I'm not talking about just being a member of association. I'm talking about being an active and engaged member in any association or group or team that you're going to belong to, that you're going to lead, that you're going to move and motivate. And we're going to teach you some of the secrets that you need to have in order to do that at an exceptionally high level, without excuse, without any kind of drama or trauma. We're going to talk about it. I got a great story I'm going to tell you about a client of mine who had a problem with that and had to learn how to let go of the reins and sort of accept help from others. And you're going to see how that kind of works, and it will work for you too. So we'll talk about that later. Another thing I want to talk about today is it's May. And for a lot of you, I know you don't know this, but May is Small Business Month. It was literally designated by the Small Business Administration as Small Business Month. And it just happens to be also my birth month. That's right. I was born in May. And my birthday is coming up on the 28th, around the Memorial Day weekend. And I'm looking forward to celebrating it. I'm thinking I'm going to do something special. I don't know what I'll do, but I always try to do something special for my birthday. This is not a significant birthday. I'm just approaching 60, but I'm not there yet. So we're going to have some fun. Today's talk is, again, going to be about association. And because it's my birthday month, I'm offering an extra special discount, I would say, or a benefit to anybody who wants to take advantage of it. I'm offering half prices off of all the services that I offer. Now, if you know me, you know that you can advertise with me on my events. You can get opportunities to be promoted through my programs and shows that I like to do. You also can find yourself in the way of finding the support that you need for your business and accepting me as your coach. And all of that stuff is on discount right now for the month of May. I'm only accepting a few people, and so if you want to be one of my few people that we talk to, hey, my information is rolling right across your screen. It's coming right in front of you. Some of you have already jumped on the offer. You saw me posted on LinkedIn. You're like, oh my God, I got to take advantage of this. And I really thank you for that, because I get the opportunity to just show off, and do for you the things that, you probably couldn't have got done or wouldn't have got done in the speed and the rate that you're working without me. In fact, one of my favorite clients is here today. Miss Tamika Willis is out there. Tamika, give a shout out for Tamika. Tamika, definitely tell people, about your business and how to connect with you. You never know who might be out there, who might be in the trucking industry, who might be looking for a partner like you. Tamika is a fantastic person to know, to deal with, to work with. And I'm looking forward to helping her advance her career in training development when it comes to the trucking industry. She's going to be doing a lot coming down the pike, and you guys are going to be hearing from her. And so look forward. I'm going to be probably offering her, I haven't talked to her about this yet. I'm probably going to be offering her a slot in our program called Inside the Business Mind. So we're going inside the business mind with Tamika Willis. So anyhow, guys, look forward to seeing you. Thank you for being out there, Tamika. By the way, if you all are calling in or you're seeing this show on Facebook, LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Instagram, do me a favor. Put any information that you can about your business in the chat so people can see that and people can respond to you. You never know. This is a business-friendly thing. So if you have an offer that you want to make or an event that you want to share, something's coming up in your universe, in your world that you want to talk about, definitely put that in the chat. You never know who might be wanting to engage with you and see you there. Your contact information, your website, whatever you got that you want to share with other people, let's do that. Let's blow this spot up with all kinds of engagement for one another. If you have a question about today's talk, either before or after the talk, it doesn't matter when you ask the question, put it in the chat. And if I don't respond to you during the meeting, I will respond to you at some point after the meeting. I always go back and I look at, who's reflecting in the chat on all the different platforms, and we'll make sure that you get your questions answered. Okay. We're going to jump right in today. I'm not even going to do a commercial break. I'm jumping right in because the topic is so hot and it's so special. We're talking about the reasons why we associate. Why do we associate with one another? Why do we associate with the teams that we're in? How do we get the most out of any association that we're trying to do? And I'm going to start off today telling you a story. The story I'm going to tell you is about a client of mine. And it's one of my favorite clients. And I'm going to change his name and his likeness. So you don't really know anything about this person except for what they do. And so you can't hold me guilty or hold them guilty for anything I'm going to share with you. All right. So I'm going to talk the name of the client, though. I'm going to call this client Only Me. That's the name. Only, last name, me. First name only, last name me. And Only Me, before he started his own company, had a very high-ranking position in the State Department of the United States. For about 15 years, all he did was fly all over the world, talking to different ambassadors and talking to different people from all over the countries. And about 2 years ago, after he retired, he decided he was going to go into business for himself. He thought, I could do this export-import thing. I have enough consultation experience. I have enough talent to do this. I have enough relationships to do this. And it's true. He did have the relationships to do this. He knew very little about running a business, but he had a lot of relationships, and he was able to capitalize, really successfully right off the bat. He was making well over a 7-figure salary, and he wanted for nothing. He and his wife of 30 years, they were traveling all over the country, traveling all over the world, really. And she joined him out on the road as his administrative assistant. Now, you would think that a person like Only in this position would have had it made, right? I mean, here he was literally jumping out of his professional expertise that he had with the government right into a private opportunity that he created for himself, and he was making a boatload of money. But the problems started stacking up on Only really quickly. He got a letter while he was in business, and the letter said that he's going to owe $300,000 in back taxes to the IRS. You see, he didn't know how to appropriately account for his financial rewards that he was getting, because he was getting money in different currencies from all different places, and it was all going into the bank account and mixing up. And he really didn't have any clue. And plus, he started his business as a sole proprietorship, and he never thought to do anything different, because it would have been a lot of corporate red tape to put together the LLC, or put together an S corp or C corp or some other kind of corporation. And he didn't really think he needed to go through all that, because in his mind, he wasn't a startup. In his mind, he was already a valuable consultant. So that was a problem. Another problem came, and this was the thing that really made it bad. He had a $200,000, not a $200,000, but a $20,000 fine from the very same State Department he used to work with, because he was doing things incorrectly when it came to having a shipment come in out of China to represent some IT products and services that he was going to put together for a client of his that asked him to bring these computers in from China. Well, here he had the computers were stuck out on the ship. He couldn't actually get them into the country without paying the fine. So he had to pay this tariff and this fine in order to get these computers. And he, quite frankly, was upset that, if he didn't pay this, then he couldn't fulfill what he promised to fulfill the client, and he'd be breach of contract, and all kinds of stuff would have went wrong. So he had to do it. It wasn't about the money. It was about being forced to do it. And it really, really was hard for him, and really hard for him to. Now, to make matters worse, it seemed like the CPA or the tax consultant that he was using mysteriously disappeared. Can you imagine what it must be like? You got these fines over your head. All of a sudden, things not going right in your business, and then your financial guy disappeared. Now, Only was not a CPA. He wasn't even financially astute. He knew everything he needed to know about the export business in terms of relationships, but he had no clue, again, how to run a business and how to do it correctly. Well, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for his wife. Mrs. Me told Mr. Me and gave him an ultimatum, pretty much, and said, listen, you're going to let me come in. You're going to let me do what I need to do to fix all these situations, and you're going to let me take care of it, or you're losing me, and you're going to lose me forever. Because she was sick and tired of having, their retirement plans and so on and so forth basically be attached to all this debt and all the things that he needed to do to fix these problems. And she didn't care how much money he was making. She didn't want to lose what she'd already accumulated in his business exploits or his business screw ups, so to speak. So she took over. She took over the whole entire business, and he agreed. Begrudgingly, he agreed. And he let her make the negotiations with everybody she needed to make negotiations with. The first thing she did was go to the local chamber of commerce and found a reputable CPA, and then found a reputable attorney, and then found some marketing people, and then found some social media people, and then found everybody she needed to right the ship, to get things moving in the right direction. And in a short amount of time, not only had they negotiated with the IRS a lower fee that they could be approached over a series of years, and got him straightened out on all his taxes and everything he needed to do, he was able to now, correctly file the business, right, under the right kind of business filing for the state, for the country, and for everybody else that was concerned. So he's a legitimate going to business, started actually fundraising and getting people to invest in the business, because he had so much experience. Everybody wanted to just throw money at him. And so he started taking investment money from the friends and family and different people that knew him over the years. And they started investing in the business, and he had partners now, which even made those relationships even better. And so it really, really worked out well for him. Why did it work out? He understood that he couldn't do this alone. He understood that he needed help. He understood that he didn't know how to hire experts, and he didn't know how to do that, but he could figure it out if he used the right kinds of people to do it. And lucky for him, his wife was open to all of that and helped him be open to all of that. The moral of the story is, no matter where you are in business, no matter where you are in life, human beings basically need each other. There's no room in a highly competitive marketplace for a lone maverick or even a solo player. We need to think collectively and collaboratively. Let me say that again. We need to think collectively and collaboratively at everything we do. This can only be done well when we have positive associations and great connections. You need to have this. Now, there are 4 rules of positive association that I want to get into and help you understand today. Before I get into the 4 rules, I want to share a quote with you. And I love this quote. This is from Franz Kafka. Kafka says, association with human beings lures one into self-observation. Now, what is Kafka saying? Kafka is saying that the more we associate with others, the more we are compelled to look at how we fit. The more we associate with others, the more we are compelled to look at who we are in and how do we belong to the group, to the team. How do we fit in? How do we create meaningful, relevant, and significant opportunities within the group for ourselves, for other people? What is it that we bring to the table? And you get to ask these questions when you are associated with other people, whether you join a formal association or informal association, or you become, just a part of a collective hodgepodge of people that you kind of find along the way. No matter what, you need to do the right thing when it comes to, one, recognizing personal achievement, not just your own personal achievement, but others. And when you find that you start to get involved with social intelligence and emotional intelligence and working with others, you're going to find that no matter how wonderfully talented you are, no matter how honed your skills or how deep your knowledge, if no one knows that you have the skill, the talent, the knowledge, you can never really be great. Because you don't know you're great, because there won't be anybody there to tell you or remind you that you're great. And even if you think you're great without somebody else sharing that with you, it's not quite credible. Not to you, not to your internal psyche, and not to anybody else. This is super important. If there's nobody telling you that you're wonderful, that you're talented, that you're smart, that you're gifted, then what's going to happen over time is you, even if you had a high level of confidence in your abilities and your talents, are going to lose that, because it's going to be attacked by so many different people, and so many different things and so many different situations are going to come to you that's going to make you doubt yourself. It's going to make you scared even of your own talents and abilities. And that's a shameful situation to find a person in, an entrepreneur specifically in, because if you need people to depend on you for leadership, the last thing you want to be is doubting in terms of your own talent and your own abilities and your own awareness, right? Next quote I want to read to you. This comes from Claire Barton, and I love this quote. It's a little long, but hang in there with me. I hope you get the point. If woman alone had suffered under these mistaken traditions of women's subordination, if she could have become, let me start this again. If woman alone had suffered under these mistaken traditions, women's subordination, if she could have borne the evil by herself, it would have been less pitiful. But her brother man, in the laws he created and ignorantly worshipped, has suffered with her. He has lost her highest help. He has crippled the intelligence he needed. He has belittled the very source of his being and dwarfed the image of his maker. What is that quote telling us about how important it is to recognize everybody's achievement along the way? It's sharing with us, in my point of view, Claire Barton is sharing with you that there's a tricky win-lose balance with associates. It's not always a good time. You see, because sometimes associates and being associated with other people will drag even us down. And Claire Barton is saying basically that the rules and the strategies that men have used over the years have dragged women down, but also dragged them down. So everybody loses in that situation. Even if it seems like in the short term, some men are winning, In the long term, everybody loses, because anytime you diminish others, you lose a little something yourself. There's a sense of liberty that's immediately dulled as soon as you fully accept that you need others to do anything significant. And it's true. You can't really enjoy, I would say fully, any interaction or any opportunities you have to share with other people if you feel like that is somehow a burden to you, if you feel like somehow it's taking from you. So if you don't know how to make meaningful contributions with others, and I mean the kind of contributions that double over and fold over and come back to you even bigger than the ones that you made, that is a skill. That is a required skill for you to learn how to create win-win opportunities in almost any association. You see, because when you really if you understand what I'm talking about, you'll get that association is the key to our highest level understanding of ourselves, our self-awareness, and our sense of belonging. All of it is tied to how we associate and whom we associate with. Right? There's two terms that I want to share with you. One term is social intelligence, and it is your ability, your level of ability to cognitively understand how you fit into an organization or a group, how you make other people feel, and how other people make you feel, and being able to control that balance is called social intelligence. And some of us are highly socially intelligent. We can walk into almost any room and just feel accepted and comforted and belong to it and so forth. And some of us are not. There's only certain rooms we can walk into and feel comfortable and know that we belong, or feel like there's a sense of something for us in this room, as something that we can contribute, as well as something that we can accept. The other word I want to talk to you about is a word called social mirroring. There's a capacity that human beings have to, in any social environment, even in this social environment, to feed on each other's energy and to then mirror that energy back to one another. And so if you present the woe is me, down and out, I'm depressed, I'm so sad, it's so bad, life sucks so hard, and that's all you represent, that's not just a story you're telling yourself inside your head. That's the story that you're projecting to the world. And what the world's going to project back to you is exactly that same story. And so as you increase your social intelligence and your emotional intelligence, you begin to become aware that you have a lot of control over your feelings about anything that's going on. And done correctly, you can mirror back to the world that you're participating in a level of positive energy, a level of confidence, a level of commitment, of shared ability and service, and they're willing to connect, and the willingness to give and do that. And what's going to happen is that world, that same mirror, again, is going to shine back at you, and you're going to have increasingly levels of people who are willing to commit to you, people willing to share with you, people that are willing to be with you, be around you, and they feel enlightened and inspired by you, and you feel enlightened and inspired by them. That's how it works. That's how social mirroring works. So when you do this correctly, your sense of collective possibility with a group of talented people, can drive both feelings of safety and, more importantly, those of hope. And if you're driving that feeling with other people and they're driving that same feeling back to you, you're going to forge amazingly great relationships that cause a lot of positive associations. So that's understanding the value of recognizing personal achievement. The next thing you're going to have to do, really, if you're going to get this association thing right, is you're going to understand how to make like-minded commitments. Now, what do I mean by that? It's genuinely impossible for you to fully engage and for you to fully work with organizations or groups that you fundamentally don't agree with, right? If you don't agree with the mission, the values, the principles, you don't agree with the people, you don't like them, you don't like working with them, there's only so much that your body, your mind, your spirit will allow you to commit to that group. You're just not going to give your best. You're not going to give your best because it's not wise to give your best in an environment where you don't understand it, you don't feel connected, you don't feel accepted, you don't feel like your ideas matter, it's not wise for you to commit your full talent and your resources to something like that. Because why? It's going to come back void. That, intuitively, without me sharing this with you, you kind of know that you can't give your, it's not responsible for you to give your best in an environment that's only going to take from you. That's called getting yourself into a bad situation, right? And so you're looking for groups where you can get a clear picture of what they're trying to accomplish. You can get a clear picture of what their values are. You understand what the mission is. You're plugged into the vision in a way that you feel connected to it all. If that's not the case, then you got to seek that out. Do everything you can on the onboarding process, or do everything you can in initial meetings, do everything you can to try to figure out, well, who are these people and what do they stand for, and what can I depend on them for, and what commitments are they making that I can plug into and find some hope, some faith, some charity, and some benefit in, right? If you can't find that for whatever reason, then either you might have to sharpen your skills, meaning you might have to be able to, your investigative and questioning skills may need to grow. You may also need to be willing to share a lot of yourself, maybe stuff that you would not necessarily share right off the bat, because you're trying to get to a higher level of connection and credibility. And so you might have to really share a little bit more than you would want to share in order to build a quality relationship. There's another quote that I want to share with you here. This one comes from myself. And this quote says, "Whatever you have, share first and share often." Now, there's a level of confidence that you must have to share from your own personal abundance. I do not suggest you share from a position of weakness. If there's something that you have that you're definitely strong in, that you definitely can give, and you definitely can bring your A game to it, I suggest you do it. I suggest you do it, and I suggest you do it right away, and I suggest you do it for absolute free. Don't even think about what's going to come back to you. Just give it. Now, here's what happens. When you sow your seed, your talent, your ability into positive, fertile opportunities, then you're going to see growth, and you're going to have participated largely in how that growth came about. You can sit under the shade tree that you cultivated. You can share those opportunities with other people, and you can show people, look, this is what I did. This is what I participated in. This is what I gave to. This is what I committed to. This is what I put my time, talent, and treasure into. This is where I made my contributions. And this is the kind of contributions I like to make over and over and over again. Don't worry about what's coming back at you, because I promise you, if you do this right. Now, I'm not saying go around and share all your gifts and all your toys and everything that you have with them places where it's a desert. It doesn't have the capacity, the potential for you to do anything that's going to experience any growth. Why would you do that? That's like an old statement my grandfather used to say, well, I'm throwing good money after bad, or bad money after good, or good money after bad. I can't even remember which way it goes. But anyway, it goes, you're not going forward. You're just going deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole, throwing bad money after good. Anyway, if it comes to either of you and you all know what that quote is, put it in the chat so everybody, the rest of us, can see it. More importantly, so I can see it, so I can know what I'm talking about. But it's important when you are focusing on all those wonderful things when it comes to working with people. You have to know what you bring to the table. You have to know what you can do, which brings me to point number 3. You got to bring your A game all the time, because everyone around you, everyone that's a stakeholder, everyone that's a supporter, everyone that is a benefactor, everyone that is an investor, everyone that is on team you, whatever team you call it, right? They need to experience your absolute best, right? You don't want, people that you are trying to build higher and higher quality relationships with to see you at your worst, which means you got to get up every day. You got to wake up like this. Every day you got to wake up with your A game ready to go. It means you have to do what you have to do to preserve yourself so that you can deliver your A game. You can't deliver your A game if your health is going in crap. You can't deliver your A game if you consistently do things that are going to damage you long term. If you don't drink water, you don't breathe, you don't exercise, you don't eat right, you don't get enough rest, guess what? You need to do that first. You need to read. You need to connect yourself spiritually with the things that matter to you. You have to do it. If not, you're not going to be able to bring your A game consistently. You'll be able to do something in fits and spurts. Fits and spurts. Fits and spurts. You'll be able to do things in fits and spurts, but you won't be able to do things at a maximum high level. And you want to be able to do that because that's when people get to see you shining. They get to see you at your best. They get to see you and they begin to trust that this is the person that you are. Now, I know some of you are going to say, listen, there's some people that I've been taking for granted and I haven't really respected them the way I should. And I haven't done the things that I probably do now. And I'm ashamed to. That's okay. Start from right now. Go right to those same people and say, listen, I've been holding out on you. I'm sorry. I haven't done the right things and I haven't shared the right things with you about me that are going to elevate, the level of trust that we can have for one another. So let me do that now. Stop trying to be everything for everybody, but be the thing that you feel like you were born to be. Be the thing that you feel a destiny's calling towards. Be the thing and the person that you know that God put you here on this planet to be. When you do that well, you won't have a problem. Babe Ruth said this: the way a team plays as a whole determines its success. You may have the greatest bunch of individual stars in the world, but if they don't play together, the club won't be worth a dime. Now, you got to bring your A game, but so does everybody else. And you should demand it. You should be the kind of person that would be like, listen, was this your best? Ask the question. If you get an inkling that somebody has done something for you or done something with you, done something even around you, and it wasn't their best, ask the question. I'd like to hold that mirror up to them like this. And listen, is this the best you had to offer today? Was it your intention to cause this kind of situation that it is? Because that's what happened. You said and did this, and as a result of you saying and doing this, this happened. Was this what you were looking for? Was this the result you were trying to get to? If not, what can we do to fix it? How can we help? How can we get involved to create a better environment for you, for me, for everybody that we're playing with? Don't be scared to ask the question. It's so important that when your best is the only thing that you have to offer, you have to deliver emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of it, all the time. Because when it happens, when you start to live in that space, in that environment where you're just good and getting better every day, that's what's going to happen. You're practicing, you're becoming your greater self, you're being your better self. Every day you're growing, you're reading more, you're focusing more, you're paying attention to the right things more and the right people more. You're becoming and becoming and becoming a better and better and better version of yourself. This is a daily exercise. Every day I wake up and I ask myself, how can I do better today than I did yesterday? Every time I do this show, I ask myself, how can I make the next show better than the show before? What do I need to do differently? I ask questions. I always ask for feedback. It takes quite a bit of homework to start to do this stuff well, but when you get it, you'll have created an environment where people themselves are feeding you everything that you need to be better in their own eyes. So that you can go and you can respond to it. You can go, oh, wow, okay, I see if I could do that better. Okay, great. I'm gonna try to do that better. And then you let me know if I got it. And when you create that kind of feedback loop, the magic is going to start to happen with that relationship. I don't care what the relationship is. I don't care if it's if you think of a person is as high as they can possibly get in terms of the distance between you and them on that ladder of success, right? Doesn't matter how successful they are. They're just people. and they want to deliver their A game. They want to be meaningful, relevant, and significant. I want you to remember that everybody wants to be meaningful, relevant, and significant. Anybody who tells you something different is pretty much lying to you, right? We all want to be that. And so in order for you to be meaningful, relevant, significant, you got to know how to do it. You got to know. And how do you know? The only people who know are the people that you need to be meaningful, relevant, and significant for. You need to ask them, what do I need to do better? How can I be better in this experience with this, in this moment with you? And, be willing to listen and accept that feedback. You don't necessarily have to do anything different. Go back to that again. But if they come up with a good idea and then you don't do something with it, well, shame on you. Because how could you look the truth in the face and know it's the truth and then go, now I'm going to do something different? That doesn't make common sense, right? And so you have to pay attention. When you pay attention to others, others will pay attention to you. In fact, the law of reciprocity is all over everything I tell you guys. Everything I talk to you about is really about you being the person that you were put here to be, and doing the things that you feel consciously and in your heart is the right thing to do all the time. You be the judge. I mean, I'm not saying you let other people judge you when it comes to accepting feedback. I am saying, pay attention to what others think about you and how others truly feel about you, and how and what causes those feelings to happen. Because the more you begin to master being able to help people feel the way you need them to feel, it's game over at that point. The last point I want to make with you on the 4 elements of association is this one. You need to practice being a specified somebody. You need to practice having a standard of excellence in a specific way every time. What do I mean by that? If you're an expert painter, don't try to be a masterful tennis player, right? If you're an expert in whatever it is you're an expert in, double down on that expertise. Do even more with it. Be very specific about it. And people ask you what you do, don't give them a title or the name of your company. That's not what you do. People say, aren't you a business coach? Yes, I am a business coach. But if you think I'm a business coach like every other business coach that you know, you're going to get me all kinds of wrong. So don't put me in that box. I don't want to be in the box. So don't put me in the box. And I won't put myself in the box. What I do is I help people reach for excellence all the time. And I'm on 100% track record. I've never failed one client ever in the last 20 years of my business. All right. That's who I am. That's what I do. I'm a superstar coach. I help people reach the top of whatever game they're trying to play and win with a level of expertise and clarity that they could never find without somebody like me in their corner, behind their back, helping them, find the right strategy, the right technique, the right wind, the right way to fly. That's what I do. And if I tell you anything different, I'm a coach and I'm a business coach, and that's not even playing my A game, right? That's helping you diminish even your own concept of me. I got to tell you the truth. This is who I am. This is what I really do. And I'm getting better every day. So when it's time to be the expert, you got to show up all the way. Now, you don't always have to show up because your expertise isn't always valuable. So the places where it's not, don't go there. But where it is valuable, where people are going to go, oh, wow, I like that. I think I need that. I think that's important. I know some people who do need that. That's when you got to show up, and you got to show up in all your glory. You can't be shy about that moment when it's time for you to shine. Zig Ziglar says this: you cannot make it as a wandering generality. You must become a meaningful specific. The specificity in who you are, what you have to offer, what you have to share, what you recognize in yourself is great. Is such a key to you becoming relevant. I can't, express this with more passion and more power. When you do this well, you're going to find meaning in your life and all of your activities. The key to satisfaction, happiness, joy, fulfillment is all about you being able to be the person that you're supposed to be, and do it with a level of clarity, a level of connection, a level of commitment. And you're going to find people who are going to just jump on the bandwagon and want to be with you, want to be around you, want to represent you, want to promote you, want to find opportunities for you. The opportunities are going to help you feel fulfilled and aligned with a deeper sense of both connection and satisfaction. You're going to find that you're going to be easily aligned goals, mission, vision, and activities and connections with anybody and everybody that you find yourself around, amongst, amid, with. All that is going to work amazingly well. But you can't do it from a position of weakness. You have to do it from a position of strength. And your position of strength is going to be where your natural gifts are. I don't think I can say that in a better way. That's really, really important I hope all of you all get it, represent it, understand it. Your industry, whatever your industry is calling for you to be at your A game, with a level of humility and respect, not just for yourself, but for others and the industry in and of itself. There's a professional level of not just competence, but character that you have to have in order to develop a high level of trust in anything that you do. And trust, my friends, is our only real currency. Let me say that again. Trust is our only real currency. The more and the higher level of trust you're able to develop, first within yourself, that's integrity, then with others, that is trust, that can be leveraged for everything and anything that you think you can create in the universe. It all comes down to trust. Who can you get to trust you to do what? Now, you don't want to try to trick people into trusting you, because that's going to create a kind of manipulation tactic, right? And there's a difference between manipulation and influence. They're two sides of the same coin, but manipulation means you're not intending to do good in the first place. You're already doing the bad thing by manipulating somebody, right? And so what's going to come out of that is, again, you're going to be throwing bad after good or good after bad. Again, nobody's helped me out with this quote yet, but it's important for you to understand you can't manipulate people into greatness. Temporarily, you might be able to get a win or two, but after a while, it's all going to come. The chicken's going to come home to roost, and you're going to find yourself floundering. So you got to be honest. If you don't know it, say, I don't know it. I'm working to find out. I'm trying to figure it out. It's a saying that used to come along with becoming a part of my fraternity. I remember when my brothers and I were going through our initiation process many, many years ago. We were not allowed to say we didn't know something if one of the brothers asked us about it. It just wasn't allowed. If we didn't know, we'd have to say, I have failed to seek that knowledge, big brother. And then you have to get about the business of seeking that knowledge, whatever it is they wanted you to asking questions about. And that was not about manipulating you or make you feel bad. It was about opening you up to the understanding that there's things in life that you simply don't know, but you can't just stand on that. You need to be willing to engage. You need to be willing to figure it out, because if you're not willing to figure it out, then you're going to just remain ignorant. And that's just not an option, for people who will call themselves your protege or your mentee. You want to make sure that they see in you a person that they can hold in high regard and to literally adore. Now, what I just gave you is the definition of what respect is. Respect is to hold someone in high regard and or adore them for something specific that they can represent or do, or something about them that's incidental, coincidental to their character, and so on and so forth. You don't want to say, I respect everybody. Really? How do you respect people that you don't even know? It's impossible. Stop saying it. Stop using the word that way. That's not what that's not the way it was meant to be used. It's meant to help you understand how to truly show and share with someone else the level of adoration, the level of connection, the level of understanding you have with them based on what they're bringing to the universe, what they're bringing to the table. When you show somebody respect for what they've done and what they're able to do, not just for, general overall. Now, I'm not saying disrespect anybody, right? You don't want to ignore or make anybody feel small or or they're insignificant. I would say, if there are people in your life who you don't have, but they're in your life, but you don't have a lot of respect for them, you got to do one or two things. You got to look deep enough into their life, into their world, to find something about them that you hold in high regard or that you adore. Or I suggest you have to disconnect from them and at least push them outside of the inner circle and into the margins of your existence. That way, they can't come at you in a way that's going to cause you any significant hurt, harm, or damage. Because in your inner circle, you don't want to deal with people that you respect, people that you connect with all the time, people that you're around all the time, people that connect with you all the time. You got to respect them. And if you don't respect them, find out how you can respect them. Dig deep, find out something about them, or you got to let them go. I know that's hard, but it must be done if you to preserve your own sanity, if you to preserve your own ability to grow. You can't drag the dead weight of people around you that you don't even respect. And by the way, you don't respect somebody because of their title. You don't respect somebody because of their unearned relationship with you. And I'll leave it at that. If anybody has any questions about anything we've covered today, anything we've talked about, let's load up the chat. Let's ask the questions. Thank you, Leslie. It's throwing good money after bad. Somebody saved me from myself. I really appreciate you. And Leslie went and looked that up, because either that or you're just that good, Leslie. I mean, this is a great definition. Throwing good money after bad is an idiom that means spending more money on something that has already been spent on instead of doing something more practical or thoughtful to improve it. It's also known as the sunk cost fallacy, which is a broad category. Yeah. I know you looked that up, but thank you very much for looking that up and posting what you found, Leslie. I really appreciate that. It's really, really good. My friend Leslie is, by the way, a Salesforce genius, by the way. If anybody's looking for somebody to come in and you got a company that you need somebody to help you rescue that whole Salesforce thing and help you with your business development, you need to talk to Leslie. She's a sharp cookie and she's really, really good. Leslie posted, you gotta love AI. I'm in love with it too, and I'd rather go to that source than almost any nowadays. I'm using it a lot, and I find that it's improved everything I've written in the past. I've gone back in and I've gone and improved it and found some sources and through AI that help me, validate that and give the credentials that are needed for, all the ideas and thoughts that I put together for the last 20 years. It's just crazy. But AI is an amazing tool that I hope many of you all get to use it. Tamika's out there, by the way. Anybody have any questions or thoughts about anything I shared with you? Any of the four disciplines, I would say, or the four elements of association? And I'll read them to you again. If you have any thoughts about recognizing personal achievement, both yours and others, making like-minded commitments with other people, bringing your A game all the time, and being a specific somebody. So those are the four elements of pulling together what I call meaningful association with others. And if you understand those elements and you rock out to them, you're gonna be golden with other people. You're not gonna mess up at all, because you'll have an understanding of how to win and how to keep winning with people over and over and over and over and over again. Next week, we're going to get into literally the next keys to becoming a likable person, right? Becoming a person within your group, within your association that everybody just loves to be around. And there's some significant keys to that, because it's not just doing what everybody wants to do or doing what everybody says they want to do. That's not how you become likable. That's how you become a sycophant, but that's not how you become likable. How you become likable is a whole different ballgame. We'll be talking about that next week. And I mean likable in the way that they just meaninglessly and effortlessly fall in love with you. I mean in a way that you can find win-win solutions and find win-win opportunities, and it's mutual. And you're going to find that if you learn these tricks and strategy we'll talk to you about next week, you're gonna like yourself a lot more, and you're going to like other people a lot more, and it's going to help you. These are, I like to call them the rules of adoration, right? But that goes along with a lot of respect. You can't do it without respect. And so you'll see where we're coming from next week. Anybody else have any questions, any thoughts, any comments, anything you'd like to share for the good and the welfare of everyone else? I'm open for that. I'm looking for that. And any type of engagement you're coming from, I got people that are coming in from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from YouTube, and they're all over the chat right now. So it's wonderful to see you guys out there. Really appreciate you. If I don't have any questions that I see here, that doesn't matter. Let's keep the chat going. If you think of a question or anything, you can always come back to wherever you're watching this from. If you're watching it on demand, same thing. You can come back in and ask the question. It's super, super important. And I appreciate you too, Leslie. Thank you so very much for sharing that. There's a little bit of delay sometimes. I think people think that if you put something in the chat, I'm immediately going to see it. It's about maybe a 5 to 10 second delay. And so don't be mad if I don't get to your question right away as soon as you ask it, because it's not like having a conversation. It has to go through internet and all that kind of stuff. Now I wave my hands around and it disappears. Like, oh wow, look at that. That's crazy. So again, if you have any questions, let me know. My girl Lori's out there. Thank you, Lori, for showing up. I really appreciate you. Listen, Lori has a wonderful conference coming up in October. Lori, if you could put the conference information in the chat, that'd be awesome. That'd be really great. So a wonderful conference coming up in October. I'm going to be one of the key sponsors, and I'm going to be coming through hopefully with some magical information. But even without me, promise you, there's going to be a ton of phenomenal speakers down in South Carolina. We go out to a resort, we have a good time, and we just enjoy learning everything we could possibly learn about government contracting and sharing everything we possibly can share with people. It's just a beautiful thing. I can't say in my more than 30 years of professional experience I've ever been to a conference that's more exciting, more focused on helping women, especially women in contracting, learn how to do their business better than this one. And so, I highly endorse it. I believe in it. I'm trying to bring 30 people with me, Lori. So you're going to love it. Yes, it's the Sowing Our Seeds Conference. It's going to be in October, on the 10th through the 14th of October in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Let's keep that party going as much as possible. You guys can find that conference everywhere you look. You Google that, you're going to come up with that conference, whether you're looking on LinkedIn or Facebook or, Instagram or wherever you're looking for a wonderful conference. Just put that date in your calendar, and you can register now, I believe. So start, put those registrations in early, because you want to get your seat. You want to lock this in. It's very the rate right now is fairly low, but you want to get in now, and find out how you can take your days off or whatever you got to do. Don't miss South Carolina. Don't miss this. Don't miss the Sowing Our Seeds Empowerment Convergence. You are going to regret having missed it. And once we get this thing up and running, it's going to be every quarter, and we're going to be someplace else, in different spaces, different places. But it's just, I guess, the greatest, most powerful conference I think I've ever been to. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Who else you got out there? Where'd you go? Thank you, Tamika. You falling down on the chat there, Tamika. Thank you, Tamika. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for all of you all who are watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and Instagram. This is Coach Powell. I'm doing my thing, y'all. Signing off. We'll see you guys next week. Oh, by the way, anybody want to take me up on that offer, hit me up right away, because I only have so many slots available that I can offer at a 50% discount. on everything I do. So this is the time now. If you're thinking about needing some coaching, this is the time to get it. Talk to you guys later. God bless you, and we'll have a good time.